Good morning, Uganda. Welcome to today's episode of the Tax Mchuzi. My name is Anan Priska and I'm going to be your host. As we gear up for Client Service Week, we have an exciting lineup of conversations that we want to have with you, and one of them is on voluntary disclosure. We want to understand the ins and outs of voluntary disclosure, and to help us go through this process is a guest, Patrick Baguma. He's coming from Boulevard. He sits at Boulevard and works under Tax Literacy Unit, right?
That's perfect.
And he is a supervisor there. Patrick, welcome back to the Tax Mchuzi. Please introduce yourself, greet our taxpayers, then we get started.
Okay, good morning Priska, good morning viewers. As you have heard, it's a Tax Appreciation Week and we are here. My name is once again is Patrick Baguma, and being a Tax Appreciation Week, this is the best time to talk about voluntary disclosure. Tell us that don't give back. It's in another indirect way of giving back to our clients. That I can say in the shortest term.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. And we can't wait for what you have to share with us. And it's the norm here at Tax Mchuzi. We don't delay. We're going to jump right to the gist of the matter. What is voluntary disclosure?
Voluntary disclosure. You see, for people like speaking English, the word voluntary alone, it's like you are doing something willingly.
Out of your own will.
Out of your own will. Yeah, exactly. Now, if you go to the legal definition, though even the ordinary man can understand it, voluntary disclosure is where a taxpayer voluntarily discloses information about his or her tax affairs.
Okay.
And when I talk about tax affairs, of course, I talk about his tax liabilities. We are talking about in case he made misstatements in his previous declarations, whether there are some omissions in his previous declarations. So long as, that there are keywords, so long as you have not been prompted by any action or threat of action by URA.
Okay. So it has to be, you look within yourself and you're like, you know what? I have not been walking the right path.
Yes.
Let me, come clean to the taxman.
Yes.
So, what if URA is doing my audits, let's say for financial year 2020, 2021? Can I come clean on something that happened in 2019, 2020, like in the previous financial year?
Now, actually, even before I come to that point there, this voluntary disclosure, when I was saying it is about taxpayers.
Okay.
Giving information about the tax affairs. When you talk about taxpayer, I mean this person is already registered with us.
Yes.
But there's also that group, those groups of persons who are not yet registered with us. But they're in business. They're not registered for any tax type. You get it? So it also affects these people. You can just come voluntarily and register and pay your taxes. Likewise, you may be there when at the time of registration, you gave us wrong information.
Okay. So different.
All the information was missing somewhere. Something was missing. So still this voluntary disclosure has come to address you. Please come in and register and give us the correct information. Because I'm not saying that only the existing taxpayers, but even the potential ones, you benefit from this one.
Okay. So there is people who I was supposed to have signed up for VAT, but I did not.
Yes.
So by, for, maybe 5 years back. So I can come clean and tell
Perfect.
you. Okay. So what happens? So you will not tax me for those years I missed? What are the benefits?
Now, if we talk about the benefits, you see now we are saying that so long as they're not being prompted by any action or threat of action by URA. So what does it mean? That either URA or the tax body has not given you a letter inviting you for taxation matters for that period. We normally use some hard words. Either it is a health check.
Okay.
Health check means that you submitted your accounts, they are with us. But we have discovered some information which we believe you should have included. Or they gave you an advisory letter, and they're saying that, look, much as you filed your returns, we have discovered information to the contrary. ABCD is missing, and yet we have information about it. Can you please rectify this area? So meaning that for that particular period, and the period can be a month if it is a monthly tax type, or a year if it is a monthly, that is the annual, a year, URA has not prompted you that, look, from our observations,
Something is off.
something is not right. Now that one may not benefit from voluntary what? Disclosure. That is actually, as we shall reach somewhere, that is one of the exceptions.
Okay.
But if none of them, then you have a right to benefit from
It's voluntary.
from this. Exactly.
Okay. And you know, with taxpayers, everyone is asking, okay, if I come clean, what's in it for me? What's that benefit?
The benefits.
Yes.
There are very many. But we shall talk a few of them. One,
Yeah.
we are saying that if you come voluntarily, you see, before you even give the benefits, you have heard many taxpayers saying that URA is making us close our businesses. And part of the reason is because you are paying those costs in the form of penalties and interest. And to a business person, if you pay interest or penalty, this is something you don't plan for. Every coin you spend in a business is a cost to the what? To the business. And you remember, for tax purposes, these are not allowable deductions. So what does it mean? If you come on board under this voluntary disclosure, one, it means that you're only going to pay principal tax, interest for accruing from that late payment will be waived off. The penalty, in the case maybe like late filing, that one they are going to pardon you, you won't pay it. In addition, we're saying that you're going to start afresh. You'll be, it's like a clean, yeah? It's like to get to an let's go and be saved. You start no more sinning.
Yeah, that's true.
And above all, you're going to have a chance of engaging your officers to understand more about tax matters. And who knows, from these tax matters, this engagement you're going to have, that's why you can say, hey, tax planning. I mean, there's also, if I did like this, I can still pay less, but within the confines of the what? Of the law. Exactly. So those are some of the benefits of voluntary disclosure.
Yeah, there's something in it for the taxpayer. And you hinted on the law, and I'm going to, is this voluntary disclosure backed up by the law? Because sometimes taxpayers will be like, oh, you are a officers. You just come up with random things. They always think, I'm probably making up things. Just share and give our viewers that validation that this is backed by the law.
Of course, now you see, we are here telling taxpayers to comply with the law. And you are saying that when you come under this voluntary disclosure, one of the aim, one of the objective is make sure that you start, you have a fresh start. When I say fresh start, you're going to be compliant. So whatever we are doing, of course, must be within the law. And for those people who like reading, they can go to...
Some lawyers are watching.
Lawyers may be watching and listening.
Yeah.
They can go to section 66,
Section
1A of the Tax Procedures Code.
Okay.
It basically summarizes what I've said, where they say they forfeit the interest and the penalty so long as you come voluntarily and pay the outstanding principal tax.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. And speaking of what's in it for the taxpayer, we've hinted on that. What is in it for URA? Why did URA introduce this voluntary disclosure process?
Now, there are several. Apparently, if in our taxation regime, URA is running what they call a self-assessment regime.
Yeah.
Now, very much at a self-assessment regime, somehow, the tax officers or URA officers are prompted at MT to come and review the information that you do submit to URA. Now, in the process of reviewing this information, or which we call declarations, which are given to us in the form of a return, the process of reviewing will be in the form of an audit. There are some mistakes, you can call them mistakes, errors, omissions, which have been discovered. These are findings and these are factual. And some people say that we wish we had known this one wouldn't have what? Happened. So the need was saying, okay, going forward, it means that there are people back end who would have come under this voluntary disclosure to come willingly, but they're not aware that actually it exists. So one of it is because of the findings from audit, the feedback we get. That's why it is there. Then two, of course, during the course of doing work, you talked about omissions and misstatements.
Excuse me. Okay.
I talk about omissions and the misstatements. So, sorry about the network issue. About omissions and misstatements. So, we talk about a misstatement for people who are accountants. A misstatement is where you find that something was not reported right. It was reported in the accounts, but it was not reported rightly.
Okay.
Instead, like you find somebody, instead of reporting 1 million purchases, he adds an extra 0, making it how much? 10 million. That is a misstatement. There's also you find that some taxpayers, either because of the accounting system they are using, they omit. The omission may be intentionally or unintentionally. Now this omission means that a transaction has happened, but it was not recorded. So what does it mean? That at the end of the day, the person is going to come and summarize your books of accounts. So we're going to call the trade balance. Sales, purchases, expenses. He's going to take what is actually recorded, not knowing that actually something happened, but was not what recorded. So these are some of the areas. And the other, of course, also I've seen that there are also people who are frequent importers. Someone is importing things in the billions and the billions. He's paying properly import duties, you get it? But if you come to the domestic type, you say this person, these things being imported, are they for domestic use or they're just on the market? The person is selling. So the question is, why don't you register for income tax? If you have got employees, register for pay as you earn. And some of them you find actually, they are above the VAT threshold.
Yes.
He's supposed to register for VAT, but he's not registered. He was not registered. So these are some of the people who are doing what? Looking for, or targeting for.
Okay, so that's, thank you, Patrick, for breaking that down. URA is always, and I keep reiterating this, URA is always rooting for the taxpayer. And we don't want to we're not out to get you. We want to work together. This is a partnership.
True.
And that's the whole point of this voluntary disclosure. If you see something, you omitted something, and sometimes it's an innocent
very true.
mistake. Our doors are open. You can always come and you can always go through this voluntary disclosure process. And speaking of that, how does someone go through this process? What is the A to Z of that?
The A to Z.
Yes.
I like the word A to Z. First of all, we are saying that. How? Maybe saying that I'm here. If I go to URA, is this information real? It is real. So long as the other words they talked about, URA has not notified you. There is no action that has been prompted or initiated against you from our end. So what does it mean? That if you go to our portal, here I don't know whether I should be able to portray, I don't know, maybe, but I know most people, it's .com.
Yes.
Most people are using smartphones.
I think the producer can flash the phone.
Now, if they go to the portal and you go to A to Z tax topics, you know that I try to make things simple. I don't know whether it's because of .com, digitalization. When you go from A to Z topics, then in the last, is it V?
Yes.
The last, is it the last letter in the alphabet? UVWXY. No, somewhere.
Under V.
Under V, there is what they call a voluntary disclosure form. So this voluntary disclosure form is the one that our taxpayers, both actual and potential. You don't talk about actual, those are already there, but they're giving us incorrect information. Or potential, the people I talked about, they are trading, they're in business, but not registered. You get it? So they just go pick that form and fill it. And the part of the information is supposed to be filled. One, we are saying that there must be the name of the taxpayer. The name must be there.
Okay, yes, the name has to be there.
The address, of course, I talk about giving us more information, the address. The type of offense you have committed.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
Which tax type? You're talking about the period. How much money have you paid?
Yeah.
You get it? So now, and in case, we're talking about in the case there are companies also, you must also be associated companies, they must be clean. Now, and it brings me to the point which they have to take seriously. When I say that, so long as URA has not prompted you,
Yes.
there's a question asked to me that in case a person is undergoing an audit
Yes.
somewhere,
Yeah. In this financial year.
In this financial year.
Then, I'm like, oh wow, maybe I should come clean on the previous financial year.
Yes.
So, is that okay? Can someone proceed?
Now, what does it mean here? It means that in case you're one of them, if that tax type, for example, I can say they're handling VAT. If they're handling VAT now, I feel like, if they're handling VAT for the year 2019-2020, and the 2018-2019 was not handled, can I voluntarily go and disclose? Yes, you can.
Okay.
So long as, you see those exceptions, so long as this ongoing audit will not lead us into that previous year, because there could be some triggers that spillover that this thing that find brought forward, they carry forward. So there are no trigger that this transaction, by the way, is coming from the previous year. Mean that even the previous year, even the ordinary person, ordinary auditor, would look at it and still find it. So it means that you can, so long as the ongoing audit or examination has no connections with the previous year. Exactly.
How about if I am going through an audit for VAT, this financial year, okay, let's say 2020, 2019. But then I think I'm like, oh, maybe I should come clean for something in income tax. Is that okay? In
Now,
the same year,
the same principle applies.
same principle?
It is very okay, so long as
Then no.
the discovery here in the ongoing VAT
Yeah, then no.
has no connection with income tax. Because there is a possibility here you find income tax returns. But the VAT sales is telling us like sales in VAT is 1 billion, but income tax you put 500. So automatically you can see that here, what appears in the VAT return, total sales is supposed to pay what? Income tax. So mean that even any ordinary person can see it. So here you want to qualify for the disclosure. Which is also another trigger. It's another trigger.
And so I have filled out my form, and what's next? What next?
Now, if you fill out that form, assuming that your viewers have looked at it properly, you put all the required information, you are supposed to take it to the nearest URA domestic tax office.
Okay.
Why I say domestic tax office? Because this voluntary disclosure is basically on domestic taxes.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
And when I talk about domestic taxes, you can look at the backing laws, you can talk about the Income Tax Act, you can talk about the Value-Added Tax Act, you can talk about the Tax Procedures Code, talk about excise duty, talk about stamp duty, and the gaming and lotteries. You can see that from what I've mentioned, I've not talked about East Africa Community Customs what? All the common external tariff. Very good. So basically it is domestic nature.
So after I have handed over my form to a URA officer at a domestic taxes service center, how long until I get some sort of feedback? What's the next step from there?
How long?
Yes.
I like the question. How long? Ideally,
Yeah.
because this one has come under voluntary disclosure, and because we want you to be comfortable. Because you see, even you where you are, you may not be comfortable, not until when URA responds to you.
Yes.
So we are supposed to get feedback as early as possible. The only issue is you have to wait for communication from the commissioner. And this communication will be in a form of rejection approval. You'll notice that on the form there are very many questions. They even ask you that, have you ever been, this what you are disclosing now, Were you prompted by URA? Were there an audit in this period? You get it? So all those questions are filling in there. Of course, when you fill the information there, it is subject to verification. Now, the findings from our side, from URA, are the ones to confirm whether it has been approved or not. But it should come as early as possible. Because we want to make you feel comfortable and start from a fresh start, a compliance status. So it is as early as possible.
Early as possible.
Yes.
Okay. And then, if I get a rejection, sadly, what happens?
Where do you put sadly?
No. Because everyone hates rejections.
True.
It stings. So if someone gets a rejection, how do they go about that? Do they just accept, or there's another process?
Now, you see, now when we talk about, when you normally put these conditions, who qualify for voluntary disclosure? Now, we are assuming that by the time you apply for voluntary disclosure, information you are giving, you know about it. You have said you are not notified you anything. Now, meaning that if they give you a rejection, they have to put reasons why.
Okay.
So the question is that reason that they've given you, does it fall within the law? Is it part of the conditions maybe for you, which you saw that you don't qualify, but you went ahead? You get it?
Yes.
So nevertheless, so when they give this rejection with a reason, it still helps you, because still they are going to guide you how best to come about it. So either way, still you'll benefit. Because you can even say, can I have an engagement? Further engagement. So how do I go about it? You get it? Of course, one of them will be like, okay, there's a tax liability, and a part of it may be partial or full, or a certain percentage at this penalty to pay it. So how do I pay it?
So either way, you're winning.
Either way you win.
That's true.
You'll benefit.
That's true. As long as you're learning, something new, how to go about your tax matters, you're winning.
They say knowledge is power.
True.
It will be different from the other person who has remained there, and at the end of the day find penalties, interest, everything, inconveniences. Bring your books here, go back. You get it?
And getting that message. Oh my God. That message
it even
is like,
triggers.
wow.
They're like, what has happened? They're going to close my business. But now for you already, you came, they've guided you, and even how to go about it. That's the beauty.
Yeah, and you have that relationship with URA.
You have opened up.
Yes,
you are willing. I say, I'm saved now. No more going to commit a crime. No more going to sin anymore. You get it?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Patrick. And at this juncture, we invite questions from you, viewers. If there is, you have any questions, share them, and we'll be guiding you on, everything you need to know. And like we always, URA always says, it's about building that relationship.
True.
And even if you're watching and nothing comes to you right now, we are very active across all our social media platforms online. You can send us a DM on Twitter, it's X now, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever.
updates.com.
Yes. Or you can write to us via mail, services@ura.go.ug. Or you can also write to us through the URA touchpoint. We are everywhere. There is really no excuse that you didn't get to the taxman. We're also on WhatsApp, and our WhatsApp number and our toll-free numbers, they're running. You can see them on the lower thirds, so you can always call and we'll be happy to help. And you can also walk in. It's client service week next week, so you can walk in and you'll probably get something. There's going to be a bit of cake cutting, so you'll get lucky. So Patrick, back to you. Preparing for this interview, I ran into something that says voluntary disclosure certificate. What is that? Is that the same as the form, or after you've gone through this process, they give you a certificate that you're cleared?
Now it takes me to what you said earlier. When we began, we were saying that taxpayers may be saying that, is what you are saying, is it true? Is it real? Or is part of a comedy? What is it? Is it, how do you call it? Kanyebwe? That kamaswe? No, it's not. So ideally, once I've undergone that process, you are put in the reasons, you have filled the form, you have paid your money. It was actually they approved it. So subsequently, the commissioner issues you what they call a voluntary disclosure certificate. So what does it mean? That now, because you came voluntarily, willingly, it will specify one, the name of the taxpayer, the name of the business entity, it may be sole proprietorship or what, the type of offense which you applied for, remember, they're not the same, the amount of money you paid, and the period. So what does it mean? That this certificate is going to help you in case of any further action by your or engagement, like audit. You say, but you see, this is a form, you can appeal. You say, this period, I came voluntarily, so I paid my money. That's it.
True. That's
you get
true.
it. So it can be used as a legal document, one, in the courts of law, in the case it is breached, and it's not signed by the what? By the commissioner. So make it saying that this period, yes, we have agreed, it is clean, this is what you found out, this is what you paid, and you agree. Going forward, you have to start from a fresh start, not going backwards, this side. That's what basically it means. So it's basically it's a legal document. To certify that actually you went through voluntary disclosure,
process.
everything you went, there were checks and balances, it was approved, you paid your money, now you are Mr. Clean or Miss Clean.
And your house is in order.
Your house is in order.
Okay.
You start afresh.
Clean slate. All right.
And compliant. Now, what does it mean that subsequently, any other interest and ability come forth after this one, that you may pay. Because when we talked about has a period, you may say, but that time I came, yes, you came, but now these are other subsequent years. So going forward, we expect it to be what? Declare information which is true and correct to reflect the true position of your company. So not target the current period to the previous period where they give a what? That certificate.
Okay. Fair enough. And I'm sure our taxpayers are, listening in and are on board. And we're getting in a bit of flour. Jimmy is saying, thank you for this show. One thing I like about URA is that you people are trying to reach out. I really like it.
That's nice.
Thank you so much, Jimmy, for the feedback. It's
good.
always, even us, the taxman, it needs to be encouraged a bit.
True. I like it.
So at this moment, as the questions come in, Patrick, please share with us your closing remarks. This has been a short one, but because we also have to go up and prepare for the feedback loop.
For the feedback loop,
yes.
where more questions are coming
in. Yes.
Apparently, whenever I come here, I don't talk about other services. Currently, as I talked about Customer Service Week. One, this is another form of giving back. I don't know whether you're aware. Taxpayers are aware. One, voluntary disclosure is one form of feedback. Then two, the other issue of, as per the recent amendments in the tax laws, we are telling you that in the case you pay a principal tax, which was outstanding as of 30th June 2023, your interest and penalty will be waived. So your taxpayers kindly visit your nearest tax office and find out what is that principal tax that was outstanding at that 30th June, so that you can benefit. These are real opportunities. Take advantage of these initiatives. We are giving back. People say we are giving only, we give back to foreigners. No. Yes, we don't want to call it an incentive, but this is more like a tax holiday. It's a tax holiday. Please take that initiative. Otherwise, we remain committed to say thank you for paying your taxes. Uganda cannot develop without you. And we are fully aware that the more we pay, what we are supposed to pay, you'll see a better and better Uganda. Don't give up. Call that neighbor of yours who is not compliant, who is still having that hesitation. Things are getting better. Digital things are coming on the way. People, we are going to be getting younger services at your doorstep. Of course, like that, for why I say so, like presumptive, you remember currently, taxpayers say about the cost of getting a tax agent. Now you can pay a presumptive or just using which phone do you call? Android, smartphone, even these hard ones, the block phones. But just say *285#, then you follow the prompts. And I think even tomorrow they are going to even to communicate to you more and more channels. I think tomorrow is the digital. So all these things are intended to reduce the cost of doing what? Business. So take them up. Otherwise, once again, Thank you for paying your taxes, and remain committed to giving you more and more knowledge, to keep engaging you, so long as you give feedback and tell us where to improve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you for coming all the way from Boulevard to have a chat with our dear taxpayers. We do not take this for granted. We say thank you, and thank you for the good work. And to our taxpayers, thank you for always tuning in to URA TV, to tuning in. You know, we have like a whole lot of tax material for you. We have Tax Mchuzi today. We also had a Banguriro yesterday, and we have a new show coming in for the Runyachitara speakers called Orurumbi.
You learn, don't worry.
We learn, yeah, Orurumbi. It's also coming on. So we want to reach out to as many people, as many taxpayers as we can, because the goal is to develop Uganda together. So all hands on deck. While we do our part to reach out to you, you also do your part of, paying those taxes and also reaching out to us. It's about a relationship. We do not want to pull to pull horns, to bag horns, to pull strings. We want to work together to take our country to the next level. It's Independence Month, so we encourage you to love Uganda, and loving Uganda can mean paying those taxes on time. Thank you from all of us at the URA TV family, from the Tax Mchuzi crew, from Paul, from Trevor. We say thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. And in the meantime, join in on URA feedback loop. It's 11:16, so yeah, we're already in session. Talk to CDT. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.